Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro on the consequences of free speech.
Ooh.
What is good? Welcome back to the Flawdcast. I am your boy Flawdzilla, and I'm here with my lovely co-host Mozilla.
What up, y'all?
This is the last normal place on the internet, and we are glad that you could be here with us today. All right, okay, and you will be too by the end of the video. I guarantee that. Guarantee you your money back. It sounds like I should be rhyming with "and you will be too." Right?
Like
if I say, we are so glad that you could be here with us today. All right, okay, and you will be too. Something, and then blue or something. That's what it sounds like I should say. But I don't know. I'll figure something out one day.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we drop.
Flawd's booty.
Also, add us on Instagram and Twitter. We be going hard on there. I'm trying to grow those right now. You know, Twitter is doing a lot for me right now. I'm talking with a lot of other content creators, and it's I like it. So yeah, I'd be talking on there, and you'll be saying shit on there too. You'll be going on Twitter.
I'd be on Twitter.
Yeah. So please, follow me on Twitter, Flawdzilla, IG Flawdzilla. Her on Twitter is Mozilla. And on IG, it's Mo_Zilla.
Yeah.
So yeah, please
Somebody's
follow
out
us.
there with Mozilla with no posts.
Yeah, literally, someone stole her name on IG.
Already, like
no
damn.
pictures, no nothing. That's grimy.
That is.
That's grimy. Like not even doing anything with the account.
Nothing.
That's so grimy. It would make your shit uniform, but of course.
And I have OCD, so it drives me crazy.
Yeah, you know how I am. That was my issue with Marcus Black. My rap name being Marcus Black. I changed it to The Marcus Black. So I would be able to have that on everything.
Yep.
But now someone has that. I saw someone take that.
Really?
Weird. But anyway, yeah.
Word.
The video we're watching today is there's a new show. This is a show, right?
Yeah, it's a new show.
He talks to people. Okay, so Ben Shapiro has conversations with people, I guess, and it's like a cool setting, you know, high quality visuals, you know, and Mo actually found these. I didn't even know they were happening, but she found these and thought they would be good to react to. I thought so too. You guys been asking for a lot of Jordan Peterson, and we already like Ben Shapiro. So yeah, this video is on the consequences of free speech, and we talk about that a lot on this channel, you know, and just like the climate today, it's important to talk about. That's why they're making videos about it. So without further ado,
forget it.
Make sure you please like this video again, please. It's helping with the algorithm a lot. You guys been liking a lot, and it's been giving us a lot of traffic too. So thank you. Yeah, helping, way simpler. Hope you guys like our new background. This isn't final. This is just, we just want something different. So this is the new background for right now, for this video at least.
Yeah, we change a lot.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, top of the year, I want to have something different. I want to have like a whole different setup. But
like, does top of the year mean it has to be on the first, or like
no, just in the beginning.
Okay.
Just in the beginning. You know, it would be dope if it was on the first, but we definitely ain't got enough time for that. So probably not.
The end of January.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it takes that long to get graphics done.
Oh, well, I thought you were talking about like full background too, like our actual
our house?
place.
Oh, yeah, no, that I wasn't
I didn't
talking
know
about
if you were doing it all at the same time.
No. I was talking about for this layout like this.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Word.
Let's get into this.
Yeah,
man.
let's go.
I just think our brains are not built for this. I think the human beings have now outstripped what our brains were built for, and we're building systems that we don't know the consequences of, and more than that, we're then building, almost in the way that we're talking about with carbohydrates. It's like we built an entire dietary system to provide to a piece of junk food that our body craves because it used to be rare in the wilderness. And I feel
sugar's definitely that.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening.
You used to have to fight bees for sugar. You know, you paid a high price for it.
Right, exactly. And now I feel like that it's the same sort of thing with regard to social media and the metaverse and all this stuff. I think we're constructing worlds that are just designed for the sugar high and dopamine release. And I'm afraid that we're going to live inside it. As reading Robert Nozick the other day.
That's what's happening.
And he has this thing
That's crazy.
To think about that, like, I didn't want to pause it already, but that is crazy to think about. Like, that's why I like Ben Shapiro, because people say whatever they want about him, right? But he makes me think.
Me too.
And that's what's most important to me. You like, people are so focused on narratives and sides and labels and all this. But if I can listen to someone talk and it lead me to me trying to understand something, or like being interested in understanding something,
Absolutely.
or new thought, you know, I don't care what anyone else says. Like that's what it's about to me. And that was a good thing he did. That was like a
good comparison.
Just the
Or a
thought
theory.
of just the thought of we are constructing worlds to have constant reward like over and over, when that's not normal. It's not normal to have that much, you
life
know?
isn't supposed to be that.
Yeah, hell no. It's basically addiction. It's like drugs, like trying to chase the dragon. That's exactly what's happening with social media. But people think they're better than people on drugs because it's not. The studies, even the studies are out there now, actually, that it affects you the same way as drugs do.
It absolutely does.
But we just let that go right over our heads. So imagine, like, people say drugs are bad, you know, and they're not just saying it because of what it does to your health. They're saying it because of what it does to you as a person. Like the action of becoming an addict to something that, like that, you know what I'm saying, becoming that addicted to something. Yeah. So if social media gives you that same type of release and same high in your head, you damn near related. I mean, not related. You're damn near addicted to coke. Yes. You know what I'm saying? But it's Facebook. It's the same. It's the same things. Like they give you the same fucking.
It's all
effect.
the same brain.
Not effect, but the same. Yeah, your brain's doing the same shit as when it's high off coke.
It's just not deteriorating your body.
How is it okay?
I
because
mean,
everyone does it.
It could be. Who knows?
In
it could
ways.
be deteriorating your brain. Exactly.
You know?
The effects.
Yeah.
The laziness and everything could definitely fuck your body up, but not like drugs, but absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. It's crazy. Like we just think it's okay. We don't even think about it like that because it's so new to us that it's like, nah, everything got to be good, right? Because it feels good, right? Yeah. It's just got to be a good thing. But like, humans ain't good at discipline. Humans ain't good at fucking moderation. Humans ain't good at these things. So like, it's wild being like this generation of people who are the first ones to like have these phones and like not have that. Like we don't even know what it's gonna be like. The effect that it's gonna have had on us 1,000 years from now.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
It's scary.
It is scary.
Man, and I'm trying to remember the name of his book, State and Anarchy, and he has something that he posits. He calls the experience machine, and his basic theory is that if you are given the choice to live inside a machine where you get all of the feedback loops of pleasure and it feels real and all of this stuff, you still wouldn't choose to live in it because you would understand that you're not having any real world impact. But the problem is, what if everybody else is inside the experience machine with you? I think that the libertarian basis for society is kind of falling away because if everything...
I think the problem with thought experiments like that is that they're actually not possible. Like, so... And I think that's actually a technical problem
fully relate to it.
with conundrums like that. There's a conundrums, and so this is a rough one.
Hold on, my bad. I was trying to catch this and missed that.
Like that. There's a conundrum. Claire Lehman talked to me about this, the editor of Quillette. She was asked this question. It's one of these philosophical conundrums, and so this is a rough one. So imagine that you're in Amsterdam during World War II, and the Nazis are everywhere, and you have a Jewish family in the attic, and you're up there with the baby, and there's 25 Nazi officers on the ground floor, and the baby starts to cry. Do you smother the baby? You save all the people upstairs. And Claire, who was a mother of a very young child at that time, said her response was, "Don't ask me such stupid questions," which I think is actually the right response.
That is scary.
It's more embodied response.
To think about that?
You can trap your philosophical cognition
that's
into
real
weird
life.
corners,
That was
but that
real
doesn't
life.
mean that your fundamental intuitions are flawed.
Yeah, this is right.
With this Nozick thing, it's like, well, if you could not have a body, it's like, no, you're grounded out in the world.
That's the rejection of Derek Parfit, right? So Derek Parfit's entire moral theory is the trolley problems, and you can decide how morality is constructed based on trolley problems. And people are like, well, that's not really how morality is constructed.
No.
It's not all based on edge cases,
It's
right?
not really how it's constructed at all. It has to be
more. It's way
What's
less.
trolley problems?
When you've seen it on
Seinfeld?
No. The Good Place. Remember? he was loving doing it. He was like, figure it out, Cheaty, figure it out, Cheaty. He's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna crash into the one person to save the five. You're gonna crash into five to save the one.
That's what trolley problems are.
Yeah.
So the baby, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, but it's a conundrum.
Yeah.
But it's something. It's not how life works. So even if you answered that, like,
okay.
But the job of the conundrum is not to be answered. It's to put you in that position to think how not black and white it is and how hard it is to come to a conclusion like that. That's why I like them. But it's like, you wouldn't react like that in life, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, like, I honestly,
you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know
until it happens.
Yeah, it's fucked, man. You know. So it's. I feel like those type of questions aren't really. They're cool to like to expand your, like, how much you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, when it comes to actual, if you're gonna use that to like try to legislate free speech and like all the shit that's happening in this world, you can't use those type of things to
it's not
actually
realistic.
deal with morality, because that's not how it is.
It's realistic, but it's
not
not
that black and white.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a question that is.
It could be realistic. I guess it was realistic. That specific conundrum that he said. But.
Yeah, that's why he kind of lost me with what he was saying. Like, it's not possible, because, I mean, I guess you can't imagine yourself in that situation, but there's probably people who are in that type of situation exactly. Right?
With the baby?
Yeah.
I think he was saying it because just to counter what he was saying about the thought thing, right? The simulation.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't. I understand what he was saying. Why he was saying it. He thinks that that's the right answer. But like, if you, I kind of do see the reason for him now. Actually, I just like went against what I just thought because now it's like, it can help you come to an understanding, right?
Yeah, it can help you
understand that it's not that easy.
Yeah,
but you do have to make the decision, right?
It's sort of like putting yourself in somebody else's shoes too. Yeah. Like if you don't understand, like if you're a piece of shit and you don't understand,
you try to put yourself exactly in that person's shoes and how you would handle it.
Or somebody comes to you with a conundrum. Yeah, me too.
I do that so much. I try. But that is like that's wild. I just like thought myself in a circle and I couldn't even explain what the thoughts that were going through my head, because I feel like a question like that it has its purpose.
Yeah.
But like, who can does it though, you know? Because
I think it's just
it's not really possible to do it.
Well, people obviously aren't gonna like, oh my God, change and live their life differently after, you know what I mean? But I think if it's a serious enough,
it's like so wild that you tuck your head out of it as soon as you think about it. That
specific one.
Yeah, no, just any of them like that. Like there's a lot of them like that. Like,
I know.
As soon as your brain can't even fathom it as a serious situation, because your brain is like, that is so extreme. Even
things that happen every day.
Yeah.
Until it happens to you, which is another flaw of humans.
That's wild. Yeah, I'm confusing myself. Let's keep going. Let's run it back for a little bit and continue.
And you can decide how morality is constructed based on. This is right.
With this Nozick thing, it's like questions. Which child at that time said, her response was, "Don't ask me such stupid questions," which I think is actually the right response. And it's more embodied response, right? And you can trap your philosophical cognition into weird corners, but that doesn't mean that your fundamental intuitions are flawed.
Yeah, this is right.
With this Nozick thing, it's like,
well, so that's what he's pretty
much saying what we were just saying.
Yeah. But I paused it again because that is what he's saying, but like, I feel like he just deaded the whole thing. Like I don't like. That's why you do those questions, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that they're. I mean, I guess they're useless. Okay, so I can see both sides. I'm like, I'm going back and forth in my head at the same time, bro. Like, they're not necessary, because you living your life is the way that you figure it out, you know? dealing with actual moral situations.
You don't know what you would do until you're put in that position.
Actual situations where you deal with morality. And most people are so selfish that they don't even realize the morality of the situation until after they already made the decision, and then they just either feel guilty or they like feed their ego in the end. You know what I'm saying? They don't even learn from the situations. It's wild because people don't even think first. They automatically react.
Yeah, my parents always. I literally got told at least like once a day, think before you speak. When I was a kid, I was always
same thing,
saying crazy shit, doing crazy shit.
It's funny because you still don't think before you speak. But anyway, you still just do. But anyway, let's continue.
If you could not have a body, it's like, no. You know, you're grounded out in the world.
That's the rejection of Derek Parfit, right? So Derek Parfit's entire moral theory is the trolley problems, and you can decide how morality is constructed based on trolley problems, and people are like, well, that's not really how morality is constructed. It's not all based on edge cases,
it's
right?
Not really how it's constructed at all. It has to be embodied, for example, and that's a crucial issue. You know, and so the notion that a set of semantic philosophical propositions, even coherently organized, constitutes the ethical world, and that ethics is top down from the semantic space into the embodied space. There's some truth in that because there's feedback loops, right? We think about ethics, and we can move around the edges of ethics and so forth, but it's within a game that's already established. And that game is actually established through embodied negotiation first. So when you see Moses leading his people through the desert, they're all fighting and scrapping away, right? And then he sits as judge of them for a very long period of time. It's months or years even, so much that his father-in-law says, you have to stop doing this because it's exhausting you, right? It's after that he receives the revelations from on high. And so my sense of that psychologically is it's a story about the fact that morality is encoded in our behavior in a deep level.
You're born with it.
So deep we actually don't understand the morality. But then now and then we get an imaginative insight into the moral pattern. And then we get a semantic representation of the imaginative insight, and that's this revelation. It's like, here's a moral rule. It's like
he just broke that down so amazingly.
Yeah, insane.
So amazingly. That happens to me. That's been happening to me so much recently, what he's saying. It's like my whole life, I don't understand my morals. I really don't. I'm like, am I a piece of shit? Am I a good person for my entire life? And then I start seeing patterns. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, but I can still not put the puzzle together. You know what I'm saying? I just have quick instances like, that was a good thing that you did in that situation. Like it just tells me. You know what I'm saying? Like my brain tells me like, no, that was a, and then you realize all of a sudden you just see a clear. You see a clear, like, and then that just goes away real quick, and you're like, okay, so that suffices me for another, you know what I'm saying, to feel positive and go on.
Absolutely.
That's wild.
That is.
Like, that's why I love Jordan Peterson, bro. He's so, he understands humans, bro. He understands humans. Like, to a crazy extent. He is very, very smart, man.
An imaginative insight into the moral pattern. We don't understand the morality, but then now and then we get an imaginative insight into the moral pattern, and then we get a semantic representation of the imaginative insight, and that's this revelation. It's like, here's a moral rule. It's like wolves suddenly becoming semantically conscious of the authority relationships in their pack.
But then he related it to the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And what if that was like the Bible? What if that's what was happening? Like Revelations is voice of God. You know what I'm saying? Like that quick understanding. And then you have an awakening, and then you make decisions based on that. Like imagine if people are hearing, like thinking they're, well, not thinking, because I do believe that's something that you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? So if it is something, it's your soul, like whatever that is, and it is like trying to guide you, and you get that quick but what if in the Bible that's what it was, and they just like obsessed over those thoughts until they could understand what was being said, and like kind of like is it like I don't want to say like cognitive dissonance, kind of like you you lead yourself from the understanding that you got for that 1 second, so you base everything around it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you get led to wherever you get led, and it's just.
And then that, I guess.
And you can either be confirmed that it turns into a good situation or a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? And be like, yep, that's what it is now, because that's what I experienced. I just went through that whole. That happens to me a lot in my life. Like, I know, like, the way I judge my future is, okay, so I made these decisions. That's why I try to stay consciously aware of the decisions that I make, because I make these decisions, and then afterwards I want to see where that decision got me.
Yep.
And where those groups of decisions got me. How what the situation I end up in. Like, and right now, that type of thinking is benefiting me for some reason.
It sure is.
It's benefiting me a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not to say that it's right. I'm not saying that it's right, but
no one
that
knows.
thinking is benefiting me right now. So it's just, I could be like, I'm right, and just keep living like that, and then eventually fucking fall off and blow up and like or not. I said blow up in a bad way, but I meant like fucking fall apart. You know what I'm saying? And then be like, damn, that's where I was leading myself with all these decisions. I thought I was leading myself to a good place, but I was leading myself to the negative. So I fucking like. This shit is crazy. That's all I'm saying.
It's a lot to think about.
This shit is crazy. Thinking about all the different possibilities, and I guess it really doesn't matter. I just like to think these thoughts. You don't know any of them.
You don't know what it's gonna be.
No idea, but I do love thinking all of these thoughts on top of each other. I like the stream of consciousness. I like that. You know, that's why I like recording myself doing this, and that's why I put it online, because I could watch it back and be like, get some kind of understanding from my own video, but I put it online and some people get the understanding. Some people worry about me pausing. Some people worry about like craziness, but like this is something crazy happening, you know?
Agreed.
To me.
Good. I like that a lot. That's quite good.
Like 20 years to think up. So
it took 20 years to think up.
Semantically conscious of the
That's crazy.
authority relationships in their pack.
Oh, that's really good. I like that a lot. That's quite good.
Like 20 years to think up. So
we just said the same thing.
Put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah, no, there's a.
We were like, he's fire. He's a genius. Da, 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 da. And Ben Shapiro's thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, that was fire.
For
that
real.
was good. Yeah, it took me 20 years.
There's a big kind of rich debate in Jewish philosophy over whether Moses is right to listen to Jethro. So Jethro comes in and says you need to devolve authority to lower levels. You need the princes, you need the judges of the tens, and then the judges of the hundreds.
Yeah, which is a lovely way of thinking about it too, because they parse out I thought that's what should have happened in Iraq, right? Kill the tyranny. Well, what do? You have to establish a hierarchical local authority.
Yeah, exactly. So Jethro,
centralized control doesn't work.
But one of the big questions is whether, in doing that, is Moses setting the stage for all of the chaos that follows. Because once you give up the authority that he has, the direct authority, and you have now layers of authority below him, how much authority can you devolve to layers below you without giving up the prime authority at the top, right?
That is like one of the cardinal questions of life, isn't it? You know, if you have a family, you want to devolve authority and facilitate autonomy. And the question is, how much can you do that without generating disunity? And I would say it depends on the value of the goal that unites you. And then that brings up another question, and this is a question I would say for the moral relativists.
Just the whole
I was talking to Rupert Sheldrake in Cambridge.
Fucked up
he has
part of the
lots
world.
of wild ideas, but I was conducting a seminar there on the nature of the uniting ideal. So it was imitation of the divine ideal. So you need a higher order aim to unite subordinate drives. Right? So the question then is, what becomes the highest order ethic?
Right.
It's like the pyramid with a gold cap on the top, or the Washington Monument with a pyramid on top of it with this aluminum cap on. Something's at the top, and the thing that's at the top is actually qualitatively distinctive from all the things that are subordinate to it. So the question is, well, what's that highest order uniting principle? And well, one answer to that the three religions that are based on books have proposed is it has something to do with the authority of the word. And Christianity, that's developed into the notion of the divine word. And you see that saturating Judaism as well. And that's at least in part because the thing that has to be superordinate is freedom of, it's not freedom of thought exactly, it's more like freedom of consciousness, because logos isn't thought. It's not logic either. It's much broader than that. It's more like consciousness itself. And the reason I think that's true technically is because imagine that consciousness and attention are in some sense isomorphic, right? I mean, when we pay attention to something, we become conscious of it.
Okay.
Consciousness is the mechanism that generates proximal solutions and dissolves and regenerates them. And so
that's crazy.
All the proximal solutions have to be made subordinate to respect for the process that generates
You're
all
literally building.
I think it's
what did Ben say? Is what?
Presupposition.
Huh?
Did he just say a word for it?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, okay."
So what is he saying?
So I'm thinking what he's saying is, like, so he was relating it. He was relating how, if, in order for everything to work, everything below it has to work to set it up to work, which means, what is this main thing that is creating everything else to work? So he's saying, I understood it in layers, the way he explained it. He was talking about the word. That's what he, and I don't know what logos. Did he say logos?
Yeah.
Does that mean like letters? Is that what he's saying?
I think so.
Like,
I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Symbols. I because I've heard the word logos used like for like the name of a ship in a movie, and I don't know if it was like named after something else. But if that's what he meant, then he was saying for the word. So word has to. The thing that is being, the words underneath it are trying to explain the thing up here. Mm-hmm. So then he related it to your consciousness being like, in order for you to come to your, like, yo, he just broke it down crazy. In order for you to come to the conclusion, you have to have you have to take a bunch of things into consideration. So you have to be conscious of a bunch of things, and you have to stay conscious of the way that those things, to understand those things, you have to understand. Yeah, you have to have the consciousness. You have to be conscious of a bunch of different things in order to come to a conclusion of something. Yeah. So I think he was saying that it all,
and being conscious of them, they had to be not just being conscious. It has to be like right, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't know if he was breaking it down on like a simpler level, but I just saying becoming conscious of it makes it like, in order to put this room together, I have to become conscious of you, this wall, this chair, this table, this, like, imagine if I was blind and I had to be like, okay, chair here, Molly here, computer table here, like all that, in order to understand how this room is put together. Yep. And if I'm not thinking of, if I forget that you're here, the whole thing falls apart. You know what I'm saying? I could possibly destroy everything by just forgetting that you're here. And I think he was saying that is how you understand the word. I think that's what he was saying. Like the consciousness, like the whatever that is that's telling you what it is. I was having thoughts that myself while he was explaining it, so I was thinking. I was going in and out of my own thought and what he was saying, because he was saying, because he said he was trying to figure out the one ethic that everything else is based off of, and that's what, I don't know if he meant like God, if he was talking about whatever, like we're all just trying to translate this one thing that we're feeling and all going through. Yeah, and like I was. That's why I kind of am like halfway putting it together, because I was having my own thoughts along with it and trying to come to my own conclusion.
I just got lost at the end.
We can listen again. I'm not in no rush. Hold on. But I kind of went off on my own little tangent there in my head when he was talking about it.
The thing that has to be superordinating in Christianity, that's developed into the notion of the divine word, and you see that saturating Judaism as well, and that's at least in part because the thing that has to be superordinate is freedom of, it's not freedom of thought exactly, it's more like freedom of consciousness, because logos isn't thought, it's not logic either, it's much broader than that. It's more like,
what is logos? I have to look this up, because that's where I started going into my own understanding, because I didn't know what logos was, so it made me just automatically just start having my own thoughts, and I went to this own place. But it's still with this conversation that he's talking about. Hold on, my bad.
You're good.
Keep the people busy.
It's freezing in here.
Okay, keep the people busy. Oh my God.
Yo, he is a very smart man. He impresses me every time, more and more. Every time, even if I don't understand fully what he's saying.
Okay, here we go.
I still always learn at least one thing from each time I watch him.
Yeah, me too. And I just enjoy watching these kind of things because, like I said, it builds thoughts in my. Like he went. Yeah. I just didn't understand the word he said, and I was just now that word is gonna be stuck in my head forever because I didn't understand it. That's how I be learning words. Like I didn't understand what he said, but I went on my own thought process that like gave me my own kind of insight, you know. But logos is the word of God or principle of divine reason and creative order. So the word of God, which I would think is exactly what we were talking about originally when I said the thoughts.
Okay.
Like, what if that was God talking to you? That thing that I'm saying, the soul, that's like logos. That's what he's saying. Like the thing that is driving your brain, like driving the thoughts that you're having. That's called logos.
Okay.
Which would be the word of God, which is crazy. So we were on the right track without even being on the right track, bro.
Is that what he's saying consciousness is?
Yes.
Okay.
The word for it.
Logos isn't thought. It's not logic either. It's much broader than that. It's more like consciousness itself.
Got it.
Logos isn't thought. It's much broader than that. It's more so
it's
when you're because you're a baby
and you're conscious.
You can't be having thoughts.
But who knows?
No, but like what can a baby think of?
We don't remember, so
that's
who knows?
What I'm saying. If you look at the way that's exactly what I'm trying to say. The brain is too underdeveloped to be able to think thoughts. That's why he's saying it's a consciousness. That's what he's trying to say. I'm pretty sure because you can't even think a thought as a child. You're just trying to survive. You're a fucking thing just trying to survive, and something is pushing you to try to survive and all that. And you're not thinking I'm hungry. You're thinking. Food, like I need food to like that's what we think, and we have to come to that logical conclusion and feed the kid. But the kid is just crying.
Yeah.
Like, and that is a consciousness.
But even that kid, because that kid still knows that it's hungry.
And then it grows and grows and grows. So what is that thing that is driving it from jump? That's the logos, and that's the consciousness, which is wild. And then it brings me to like people who are mentally retarded. Like what is the word of God that's going in? You know what I'm saying? They can't. The brain is developed differently. Whatever is causing the mental retardation, like the ones who are in wheelchairs and can't talk, and you know, like what is the consciousness that is driving that, and we can't even experience anyone else's experience. So it's like you just have to theorize this shit. That's why groups of people thinking like this is a good thing. That's why two people talking about this is a good thing. That's why us recording this and kind of understanding it but not really understanding it is a good thing, because someone can watch it, come to their own conclusion. They won't even put it together that it was Jordan Peterson, us watching Jordan Peterson, and them deciding to make this whole, like, the whole thing led to whatever the fuck this person who has the understanding. So that would be like more of what he was saying, like the underneath the one consciousness, whatever that is, all of us, all of our things together, all of our different ideas from different brains still lead to an endpoint. There's still it's one
too much
one thing following through multiple consciousnesses, which is one consciousness, I would think, because how the fuck are you able to do that? How can you start something? We could not even speak. You could start something. We could somehow figure out a way to communicate, figure out, and get something done. We don't even have to talk, and we can finish objective. You know what I'm saying? A task. We don't even have to speak to each other. We can finish a task. So the consciousness is wild, bro, because that's a consciousness traveling. I come up with an idea, and then I tell you what I'm trying to do, and now we're both executing the same idea that started in me.
Yeah, because
that shouldn't even be possible.
Like before language,
has to be a consciousness.
There was no, like, people still communicated and
stuff,
man. When there was
this shit is crazy, whatever it is.
It's wild. It's a lot.
And this is leading to the consequences of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's keep going here.
And the reason I think that's true technically, more like freedom of consciousness, because logos isn't thought. It's not logic either. It's much broader than that. It's more like consciousness itself. And the reason I think that's true technically is because imagine that consciousness and attention are in some sense isomorphic, right? I mean, when we pay attention to something, we become conscious of it.
Okay.
Got to look up that word, isomorphic, because I don't know what it means. It means singular something, right? Or ISO means...
Is that what he was... Is that when he explains
ISO means
after?
singular.
When you look at something, then you look at... Is that what he was talking about?
Yeah.
That's what isomorphic is?
Corresponding or similar in form in relations. Okay, so he's saying consciousness and attention. So you paying attention to something is you becoming conscious of it. That's what he was.
Or in some sense, isomorphic, right? I mean, when we pay attention to something, we become conscious of it.
Okay.
Consciousness is the mechanism that generates proximal solutions and dissolves and regenerates them. And so all the proximal solutions have to be made subordinate to respect for the process that generates all the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's a cardinal presupposition of psychotherapy, because what you do in psychotherapy is you allow people maximal freedom of expression, right? You don't impose your views on them. Even the Freudians used free association. Say whatever comes into your mind, and it turns out that process of untrammeled expression in good faith is actually curative. It actually makes people better. It leads them...
Is that why we are...
Happy?
Happy and progressing.
Yes. I believe so.
Ever since I started recording, talking stream of consciousness into a camera, free, well, almost free. I feel free.
I feel,
you know what I'm saying? I just use different words than what you know what I'm saying? I still say my thought. Whatever my thought is, I can still say it. So
absolutely.
You just got to figure out a clever way to use words when you're on someone else's platform. But this is basically free thought. And we have been progressing, building, progressing. And the only time I've ever felt pressured and like negative in this whole situation is when people were at the most setting so many expectations for me
and not having your own free
and
thought.
putting all their what they think I should do. Oh, you shouldn't talk about this and all this and all this. Oh, you should say this. You shouldn't talk to people. You shouldn't say this to people. Like so many people having opinions on my process, my creative expression.
Yeah.
And that made me feel terrible. It made me stop doing this shit for a month straight.
Yep.
But now I come back.
Free.
Stop listening to anybody, doing my thing, 30,000 subscribers in a month. So it kind of makes sense. It makes sense what he's saying. It makes a lot of sense. And it's curative because I feel better. The less I worry about what people say, I feel better.
Absolutely.
You know? He's a wise man.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended for all that biblical talk.
Turns out that process of untrammeled expression in good faith is actually curative. It actually makes people better. It leads them to what they're afraid of. That's one of the consequences of free speech, right? Because you tend to circulate around what bothers you and what disturbs you, and so untrammeled freedom of expression will lead you to the source of your fears, and then you can confront those fears, and then in confronting them you can get more courageous. That's all part of it.
Obviously, one of the big arguments that is used with regard to freedom of speech now is whether freedom of speech, if it threatens the structure of freedom of speech.
Yeah, right. That's one of those weird loops.
Right, exactly.
That's why they try to stop freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you'll be...
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
They don't want you to confront your fears and be more courageous. They would hate that. So of course,
I'm not going to go too deep into that.
If you have freedom of speech, you let everyone be racist, let everyone do their thing. That's probably a quicker route to getting rid of racism than trying to suppress people's ignorant thoughts.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because ignorant thoughts, discussing them by allowing them to speak on it is discussion of those ignorant thoughts.
And it can make them, it can deplete them. It can make them, you know.
Yes, it can help. It can help them understand that it's not an issue when you have more black people who are like, okay, why do you feel the way you feel? Mm-hmm. And try to have a conversation. Yeah. You could have one black person could change a racist whole mind state.
Yes.
Or vice versa.
And then that person could go and change. Yep.
Yeah.
It can
racist black person could have his mind changed by a white person that he actually listens to and respects. You know what I'm saying? You show someone respect, and if you're willing to listen to them, a lot of times you can see from there, you know what I'm saying, you can come to an understanding. But that's why they try to stop it immediately. Nah, don't respect them. They're this, they're that, they're this, they're less than people. Da, 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 da.
So crazy.
They don't want you to have these conversations. Makes so much sense.
Like the Germans, freedom of speech.
Yeah, right. That's one of those weird loops.
Right, exactly. It's like the Germans have an entire term for it, which they stripe our democracy.
No tolerance for intolerance.
Right, exactly. Like if it's a threat to the democracy, can you suppress the speech?
Well, I think I thought about this a lot. I think you can equate free speech with the struggling for truth, struggling towards truth, because if you're speaking freely, you're trying to investigate rather than to convince or to claim, especially if it's during exploration. So let's say that you're guided by the desire for the truth. So you've made a commitment in faith that exploring the truth is going to be curative in the broadest sense. And then you might say, well, is that the superordinate value? I actually don't think it is.
Let's rewind it
I think
for
the
a second. I missed what he said.
Then you might.
Sorry, guys. This is a good video. That's all I wanted to say. Like I could feel how good they killed this.
I know.
They really killed this.
You're guided by the desire for the truth. So you've made a commitment in faith that exploring the truth is going to be curative in the broadest sense. And then you might say, well, is that the superordinate value? And I actually don't think it is. I think the superordinate value is love. And I think I've thought about how to define love sort of practically. I would say it's the best in me serving the best in you. That's one way of thinking about it.
Yep.
But it's also the desire that all things flourish to the degree that that's possible. And so you can imagine you have a fundamental orientation on life. It could be Mephistophelian in the Faustian sense. So Mephistopheles in Goethe's Faust. He says this twice, in the first volume and in the second volume. So Goethe was insisting on this Mephistophelian view. The suffering of being is so intolerable, it would be better if it was eradicated completely. That's the Mephistophelian view. And that's a powerful argument, you know. And I talked to Stephen Fry about God.
He said the suffering of being is so intolerable that it would be better eradicated?
Yep.
What does that mean?
I think exactly how it sounds.
Get rid of the suffering? Obviously. Who wants to suffer? That's what that's what I don't understand.
Can we hear one more time?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand. He's probably gonna.
Because I think I heard it. I think I heard it completely different.
Okay.
Tolerable in view. The suffering of being is so intolerable, it would be better if it was eradicated completely.
That's the of being.
View. And the suffering of being.
So
existing.
Eradicated, so no existing at all.
Get rid of existence. Is that what he's saying?
I think so. That's what that's what I thought when I heard it the first time.
Oh, okay. So get rid of being. I thought he was saying get rid of suffering.
I think I think because the suffering's so intolerable.
Okay, get rid of. Okay, get rid of being.
If
period.
nobody did it, then it would almost be better. Which is crazy.
Okay, so hold on. So if the suffering of being is so intolerable, eradicate it complete. Let's hear what he's gonna say. Hold on. Yeah, because I kind of have my own thought on it, but I want to hear what he's gonna say.
And that's a powerful argument, you know. And I talked to Stephen Fry about God, and Fry's very interested in mythology, very oriented towards narrative, and he's a wise person. And he said, he was angry, and he said, well, I'd call him out for bone cancer in children. It's like, fair enough, you know, there's a lot of undeserved suffering in the world, and you might think, well, the whole bloody thing should be brought to a halt. My sense of that is if you pursue that path, you make everything worse. You don't make everything better. You start to become part of the process that generates the suffering you're objecting to. So you take the opposite of that viewpoint. It's like, no, we want to make everything better for everyone, including our enemies. And that's the orientation. And so I would also say that's faith. It's
I was
like,
going to say, is that what you mean by love?
I wish that everything could be as good as it could be, and then maybe even better than that.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, okay, so if the suffering of being is so intolerable, you should do without it, then take away the suffering, and just try to have a positive outlook on everything. Right? It would be like a mind state, because being sitting there worrying about everything is terrible, and that's what humans do naturally, is always judge things and worry about them and try to get the best out of everything, but in a negative way rather than just giving the best and just not allowing anything to break that, because we choose to be like, like emotions are emotions, right? But you can absolutely have some kind of control over your emotions if you really want to. It just feels it just feels better to not do that. And it feels better to be emotional.
Yep.
Because you're like when you're trying to get rid of a feeling by trying to
do rash. Like it usually leads to rash. Stupid things, and
it's a way to quickly like you're trying to make the world feel how you feel. You know what I'm saying? When you're leading with emotion, you're not really trying to get the best. Like if you look at every situation, and even a negative situation, someone does something negative to you, you think about why they did that negative thing to you. That right there is more positive than automatically being like, fuck you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Being like, fuck you is put you in a negative mood. Then you're like, fuck this person. Why is this person da-da-da? And then you automatically, now you adopt their negativity.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, I wonder why that happened.
Yeah.
And you could probably, by being like, I wonder why that happened, da-da-da, and coming to a conclusion, feeling better about it. If someone witnesses you do that, they might try that in the future. You know what I'm saying? You could have an effect, but you can also have a negative effect if you respond negatively. Just like when you have a kid, your kid's going to repeat what they see, you know?
Yeah.
You're fighting all the time, your kid's going to repeat that. Your kid's going to be fighting with people and think that's how they solve problems. And it could easily, it just comes back to the suffering of being.
Yep.
Right? Should be eradicated. Is so intolerable, it should be eradicated completely. The suffering would be victim mindset, right?
Yes.
Because you could easily know that shit happens and just try to be positive and go hard and get to the best of your life, which is what we did. And it's kind of like proves what he says, because that's what we've been doing for the past few years, and it's had even in the low points, we try to come out of them positive.
Always.
And it's had a good effect.
Always.
Positive effect on our life by not dwelling in the negative parts. You know? It's wild.
Decide that being its everything could be as good as it could be, and then maybe even better than that. Right? And decide that being itself is worth the effort and the repair. And then inside that, then I think truth works, because...
But there has to be mutuality there, obviously. I mean, the person that you love has to love you back, right? The sort of unrequited love you're talking about on a broad level, if it's only one way, you're going to end up giving an enormous amount of leverage to people who are not interested.
Yeah, well, that I wouldn't call
it. See, that's not what he's saying.
You have to be wise as a serpent, you know.
But I don't think that's even. I don't think he means relationship love.
He meant just care for your fellow human.
That's why he was saying, look at everything, trying to get the best out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like giving your best to everything, trying to get the best out of it.
Make the best out of situations.
Yes, you even if you're putting that out and people are taking advantage of it, it doesn't mean get taken advantage of. It just means, okay, you're not going to break me. I'm going to continue and spread positivity. You know what I'm saying? Because you could choose the reaction. What is the benefit of thinking negatively now because negative happened?
Yeah.
You could choose to be negative or you could choose to be positive. You absolutely have that decision.
Mood positive.
There's no benefit of having something negative happen and dwelling in that negative. There's no positive, and I've done it for my whole life.
Yep.
And I've done it because it's easier to do that. It like literally I sit there and like it feels like you're getting something back by doing that, but all you're doing is just dwelling. Like it doesn't help you. It just like the victim. I think it helps you mentally, but it doesn't really help you. For the time being, it's like I'm not at fault here. That's that's the conclusion you're coming to.
And always the next day or the next couple of days, you're always like, most people, you realize, you know.
Yep. But some people don't. Some people are enabled in that behavior, and then they never have to see.
Never break it.
Yeah. It's messed up, man.
It does demand reciprocity, but I would say that if it's mature love and not naive love, and those are very different things. They're like the difference between naive trust and mature trust. Naive trust is everyone's out for the good of everyone and no one will ever hurt me. That's naive trust. And you hit someone malevolent and that just blows into pieces. Right. It might bring you down, like with it, you know, because a lot of people get traumatized by malevolence.
Yeah.
But courageous trust is, I know perfectly well you're full of snakes, just like me.
Yep.
But you know, we can meet as men and women of goodwill, and we can move towards the good together. And the freedom of our discourse will facilitate that.
Exactly.
And if we orient ourselves properly, then we'll enter into a joint enterprise that's aimed towards the good, and that works.
But if not, then see you later. I'm sorry, but we can't continue on this path. Got to keep it going, and that is just what it is. You can't shower. You can't do anything about anyone else. All you can do is try to have a positive effect on the world.
You can only worry about, not worry, but you can only really control yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, not worry about, but you can only control your actions.
Yep.
That was a good video, man.
That was very good.
I really enjoyed that.
Me too. Sorry I yawned a couple times. I was getting tired.
Yeah, no, I know. We're only going to record this one. It's fine.
But that was very good, and I'm glad we have a couple of, a
couple more to react to.
Yeah, I'm glad they did this.
Yeah, me too. That was definitely a good video. Let us know what you think in the comments, man. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can notify whenever we drop.
Flawd's booty.
Just never. Like when I was saying earlier today, I still heard you say it even though you didn't say it.
Yeah.
I still could hear it.
I say it when I'm in there
annoying.
like Flawd's booty. I say it to myself.
Annoying.
When I'm watching you.
Annoying. But remember to always stay flawed. Don't you dare try to play flawed. And if you see me in the streets, then you better say, hey, flawed. Make it easier for me to go to sleep at night. I had a dream that I could do my thing, and everywhere I went the people knew my name. Some people hated on the truth I bring, but now I use the hating just to fuel my plane. I had a dream that I could do my thing, and everywhere I went the people knew my name. Some people hated on the truth I bring, but now I use the hating just to fuel my plane.